And it is time to introduce from Sydney. Here she is, Jaqui Lane. Jackie, great to see you again, darling. You got Christmas
Hi.
planned?
Yeah, my Christmas is very quiet. I'm going to go to the beach in the morning and sit in the garden and read a book in the afternoon.
Oh, that sounds a bit. Do you want to come to us? Do you want to fly over? We can have Christmas
No,
tea. No, you sure?
yeah, no, I usually have pretty quiet Christmases. I'm going out Christmas Eve with some friends, and then just a very quiet day on Christmas Day.
All right. Okay.
So, and
No, I
that's
can
good for
honestly
you.
say I'll be killing the fatted calf, and there'll be a turkey, and there'll be a ham, and there'll be a lamb, and there'll be children that are got certain
My gosh, yeah.
functions and tasks. I've got grandchildren arriving next year, so God, it'll
Oh my gosh,
get even busier.
congratulations.
Well, no. Well, it's on Cheryl's side, but yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Jack. Well, what's happened in
Just
Australia
just
over the
before you
last
get
year?
st- just before you get started, I was listening to your thing about your university bill.
Yeah.
Here's some stats for you. The HELP or HEC step bill for universities student loans in Australia is 78 billion, and the Albanese government's given them a discount of 20% this year of 16 billion.
You're
So
joking.
your figures don't look so bad in comparison.
Well, except yeah, they can afford. You can afford to give away $16 billion. Wow.
Well, I'm not sure we can, but Alba's trying to buy votes, so that's where that's going.
Well, don't be surprised if a similar policy to that arrives from the Labor Party in 2 years' time at this election, either, for that matter. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's extraordinary, isn't it? We have in this country, I've just been talking about it, large numbers of kids with massive student loans with a degree that's really not worth much commercially. A lot of research to say that they shouldn't have gone there, that they would have been better off working, and they will be for the entirety of their lives. Do you have similar sorts of statistics in Australia?
Absolutely. And exactly the same sort of issue. My son's got what they call a HEX debt. I mean, he trained in maths and physics, so he's at least got a potential with AI and coding and stuff like that. But me coming out with a degree in Russian politics wouldn't be much use these days, would it? When I went through university in New Zealand, I got paid to go. I got a
Yeah.
scholarship, so that was, I
Yeah,
came
but you were
out with no
bright.
debt,
You would
and
still, yeah, but you'd still be paid today to go. You're one of those sort of bright people. You were one of the people that we used to get really upset about. You'd be driving. You could afford a car. You could afford to dine out. There we were shuffling along in our jandals in the middle of winter, and there's you driving past us waving.
yeah, I was also working. I worked in a pizza shop, all through uni.
Oh, there you well, and you'd need to do so too. Well, that was the other thing, though. I mean, just let's take an ordinary university. Otago University, I think, has got now 23,000 students. Well, around 23,000 part-time jobs in Dunedin.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right.
So
Now,
yeah,
actually, and on that, we opened the books yesterday. So our Minister of Finance, Nicola Willis, opened the books, and the suggestion is she didn't open them enough because she hasn't actually told how bad and depressing things are. Have you got similar issues in Australia with your economy at the moment, recession at all?
yeah. Well, in fact, our treasurer, Jim Chalmers, is releasing what they call the mid-year financial update today. And they've been, of course, dropping numbers saying that we're going to go. We've had inverted commas surpluses for the last 2 years, but we're going to go back into deficit, and the deficits are going to be big, and they're going to keep getting bigger because, of course, Labor has spent billions on various things. So it's not going to be pretty, and we are in the seventh quarter per capita recession already. So, things are not going to be great here. Big spending Labor government, big forward promises. China's still slowing down, so our resources pot of gold is much less. So it's going to continue to be tough.
Having said
and
that, you
interest
do
rates are
have
still
that.
too high.
I mean, you have rare and precious earth and minerals that the rest of the world wants. You keep on discovering them every time you dig a hole. You are generally the lucky country, aren't you? No matter how inefficient your government is or ineffective, you have this natural wealth that, well, frankly, still makes us look a bit poor by comparison.
Look, we do, but and it has made successive governments incredibly lazy. But interestingly, the prediction of iron ore exports predominantly to China, it will, because they're much lower, it's put an $8 billion hole in the, current financial year budget. So, and lithium prices worldwide are still really low. So all the big investments in lithium have gone south. Yeah, we're very fortunate. Gas and as you quite rightly say, every time you turn around, we tend to find whatever the world needs. But relying on commodity prices is a really risky bet. And at the moment, iron ore prices are coming down. So yes, there's a big chunk of change that goes out of this country, but it doesn't protect us from stupid politics or bad spending.
Well, just on that, Albanese has got to the end of what? This is his second term in power as the Labour
No,
Prime Minister.
first term,
Sorry,
first
second
term.
year in power. Sorry, I meant second year in
Yeah,
power, isn't it? Yes, this is year two. Is that
yep,
right? Yeah. My apologies.
yep. And we're
But he's
due
got
to
to
go to
call
the
an
polls in
election.
May.
When does he have to call an election by?
Has to have it in May next year.
Right. Okay. So there's going to be one in May next year.
Yes.
Why can I? Well, obviously, from a New Zealand perspective, why can I ask? Do you have elections in May? Did they used to be at the end of the year like New Zealand, or doesn't it matter?
No, I don't think it matters. I think there's a 3-year term, and in fact, what I've been saying for a while is I think he'll call it early and go in March because they were waiting for some good economic news, lower interest rates and stuff, and that is just not going to happen. Inflation's still too high, so you're not going to get an interest rate cut, and they were hoping for that. The economy's going south, cost of living's still too high, so I'd go to I'd punt on he'll call an election for middle of March, maybe earlier,
Okay. All
because the
right.
longer he waits, the worse it'll get.
What do the polls show over there? Will there be a change of government? Will there be a Labour government? And then I just want to just before you get to that question though, Jack, there was just another thing. All throughout the world, and it doesn't seem like it matters whether the government's a centre left or centre right. Germany, for example, is going to the polls again.
Yeah,
The Brits got thrashed, but basically, you know, so many own goals. The Democrats have lost America. Obviously, last year, New Zealand chucked out the centre left government as well. Are governments, do you think, being punished because they're centre left, or governments just being punished because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time, handling the wrong issues the wrong way?
I think it's the latter. So I mean, look at Justin Trudeau. He'll be lucky to last the day. I think I think interesting a combination of things, and I think post the global financial crisis, I think governments around the world bailed out their economies and with quantitative easing and continued to do so rather than taking some kind of very necessary structural change. So they've kept the economies going and inflating them, and it was always unsustainable. So you've got government debt around the world is now in stratospheric levels, and every government seemed to have got lazy about making tough decisions, and that party has to end. It's not sustainable. So I think you're seeing that globally. And then, of course, we've got pump prime with COVID, more debt, more spending, and people have got used to not being in a tough environment and listening to you beforehand. You're absolutely right. Anybody under the age of 40 hasn't seen a recession. I've seen a couple of them, and they ain't pretty, and it's going to happen. And everyone better get used to it.